I promise I'll be home on or before 4 p.m. What I'm telling that person is, hold me by my word. In fact, if I don't fulfill what I've just told you, don't trust me again. That's what a promise means. If I'm home on or before 4 p.m., I have kept my word. It means that I can be trusted. It also means that when next I make a promise, you are more likely to believe me because I fulfilled the last one. But if I do not come home on or before 4, I make it back at 8, just like I did the previous time, which led to the complaint, you will not trust me. The next time I promise, you will refer to the one that I have broken. Because your promise is your word. Your word is your bond. And people hold you to it. As a matter of fact, a lot of times when people talk about integrity and trusting people, it usually is because they kept their word. When you go to most businesses, you would see a policy. In some cases, they even put it on the wall for everybody to see. No credit today, come tomorrow. That means whatever you pick, you pay immediately. That policy is for everybody, but let me tell you, there are a few people that walk through the doors of that business and take something and not pay and go. Nobody will disturb them. You know why? Because before now, they have kept their word countless times, so they break protocols. That business trusts them. So the rule that applies to everyone does not apply to them because the business is comfortable doing business with them. Because at an earlier time, they had kept their promise. Now, I hope you understand that this is a background because we're getting into the conversation and you will hear a few promises and you will decide if they were fulfilled or broken. Okay, so who brought us here? It is a certain minister. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, who promised that he was going to resign if the ongoing Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Road project fails quality tests. I don't think somebody heard what I just said. I also think that there's somebody that thinks that I'm just making this up. Maybe the person believes that I don't like Umahi. So why would Sam say this on radio? Speaking on Wednesday during budget defense before a joint session of lawmakers, Umahi declared his readiness to submit the work to independent testing. His remarks followed questions over the award of a section of the project to a lesser-known company. So, Umahi, why did you give this particular part of the project to this company that we don't know like that? Where are you going with this? In fact, where are you coming from? Who are you? Now, some legislators question the contractor's existence. Say, we don't think this company exists. This name, we have not seen it before. We have not heard. We don't know any project they've executed. Who are these people? Umahi. Umahi dismissed the concern and said, come off it. What do you mean? Do you know who I am? Where I've been? What I've done? So don't worry about the company's background. The focus should be on the quality of work, not the history of the company. And he challenged lawmakers to test the road. You see where the problem started? He said, test the work they have done. Leave that you've not heard their name. Forget that you don't know them. I know them. You don't have to know them. But what we should all know is the quality of their work. He now took it a step further. I should have left it there. Say, if you test their work and their work does not work, I, David Umahi, will resign. That was his promise.
I challenge you for project inspection and bring the best of your consultants. Bring, a static concrete tester, and then let us go and see, there are requirements in engineering. What is the strength of concrete in 7 days? What is the strength of concrete in 28 days? If you do it and it fails, I will throw in the towel. So I ask you for a joint inspection in terms of the speed, in terms of the quality, and in terms of, let me tell you, sir, that the former contractors were getting the equipment of this contractor. And we've been before you here, and we got all the agreements, and we showed it to this, National Assembly Works Committee. So I have no doubt about the integrity of the contractor, about the quality of the work, about the speed of the work.
Simple. Umahi did not come to play. So why are you bothered about the name of the company? It doesn't matter what you see. It is about the quality of the work. If you test and it fails, I will leave. I'll resign. I put my name on it. I promise. Now, you and I have no idea what's going to follow, if testing will be conducted, if the road will pass the test, and if it fails, whether Umahi will follow through. But this is a promise that he has made. Remember the question I said you will answer. What is the value of a political promise? Now, let's leave that particular promise and go to another promise that was made, even though there is still time to completely fulfill the promise. But it was made nonetheless. And this promise was made by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He made this promise in 2023. As you can tell, at that time, he was campaigning to be president. Live from Lagos in an event tagged Business Launch for Asiwaju, the president, who at the time was APC flag bearer, said he does not deserve a re-election if he does not solve Nigeria's power problem in 2027. Say, if by 2027, when I'm trying to be president a second time, Nigeria does not have constant and steady power supply, don't vote me in again. What are we not saying? I will do it and do more.
Whichever way, by all means necessary, you must have electricity, and you will not pay for estimated bill anymore. A promise made will be a promise kept. If I can't keep the promise and I come back for second term, don't vote for me. That's the truth. Unless I give you adequate reasons why I couldn't deliver.
The president had a condition. You say, unless I give you adequate reasons. That's a nice sounding like form EC8A. Say, if there's no internet connection, you can fill that form. Well, did the president keep his promise? We are not in 2027 yet. Right? So the president still has something around the corridors of 1 year. But as of today, in fact, today we didn't have light. I had to use my gen to pump water in my compound. If not, I will not be here. I would have not had a way to bath. So it is my belief that in the next 1 year, I will not need gen to pump water in my compound because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would have fulfilled his promise. My goodness, I can't wait. That's a promise. We're still waiting to see how it materializes. Remember, the question is, what is the value of a political promise? The next promise was made by a man who is no stranger to the media. You know him. I know him. We know him. Who is he? Reno Omokri. He vowed that he will not work with Tinubu or for the Tinubu administration. He will not work for him. It is not in his DNA. That is not what he is known for. He cannot be caught in the chambers, the coffers, the cabinet of this president. How can I? Why will I? Well, I think that if you are in tune with the times, you can tell that that same man is working with this government. But let's go back to when he made that statement.
If Bola Tinubu approaches you to work with him, would you?
It will never happen.
Okay, which one? Which of the scenarios? Him approaching you or you accepting to work with him?
Oh my gosh, I don't want to betray privilege. Somebody from Bola Tinubu's camp has already reached out to me, and I told the person that, look, it cannot happen. I can't do it. It's just against my principles. I'm not. Some people can do that. It's not in my DNA. I can't do it. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. I wish Bola Tinubu well. if he eventually is sworn in and then the courts uphold his victory. But I can never work with him.
That's right. It's not in his DNA. And believe me, Reno Omokri knows what is in his DNA. Even I don't know completely what's in my own DNA, but he knows that working with this government is not in his DNA. Now, that interview was on Shehu Okimbaloye's podcast. That's where he asked him the question. Well, today you and I can tell that Reno is working with this government. And then the same host, Shehu, asked him what happened. But this time it was on Channels Television. And this is what Reno had to say.
I mean, you told me in an interview that if offered, you will never take anything from this government.
No, that's not what I said. I said if I told you, you asked me a question that if Tinubu asks me to work with him, I said that I will not. And I said that the word I used was that it is not in my DNA. Right? That's what I said.
Has your DNA changed?
No, my DNA has not changed.
But you are eating your words right now.
No, I'm not eating my words.
Okay.
When I met with administration officials, and then, look, I can't say everything that was said. I explained to them, I said, this is what I'd said. I cannot take certain positions because I'd said that I cannot work for this, because of certain things, particularly because of the things that I said. However, I never said that I cannot work for Nigeria. As an ambassador, I am working for Nigeria. I'm going to be an ambassador of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So this appointment
country.
is an exception of your
Exactly,
philosophy.
very clearly.
So if you were giving a ministerial appointment, you wouldn't have taken it.
You know what?
Or a special.
Let me ask you a question. Do you even know? I mean, I cannot say everything. So, look, I've just said this here. When I had discussions, I said, look, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, I cannot do this because of what I had said and because of the positions I've held. However, I can do this because then I will be working for Nigeria. But even at that, my position on President Bola Tinubu has changed. I believe he is the best thing for Nigeria.
All right. You heard the man. His DNA spoke loud and clear. There are more promises after the break. Stay with us.